So, welcome. In this video, we will discuss everything about the cyber security. What are the threats that the current world is facing with respect to the cyber security? What is cyberspace, and what are the different types of cyber warfare techniques or cyber attacks that the current organizations and governments and also the individuals are facing? And also some successful tips in making an individual, an organization, and the government to defend from those threats. So let us begin the video. Welcome. When you were a child, did you ever imagine yourself as a masterful defender of the universe? Because defending is a very skillful job, and you need much expertise in being defending, right? So whether it comes to the physical threat or a warfare threat or a mental threat or a cyber threat or any threat, defending is a very skillful job, and defender has a much work to do, and he should be of much expertise to be dealt with. So what does a defender does? He does recognize a threat, protecting the innocent, seeking out the evildoers, and bringing them to justice. So do you know that being a successful defender of universe can make it that career for you out of that? Like example, cyber security guru, cyber security forensic expert, information security expert, ethical hacker. All of these roles can be a part of your work in the exciting, ever changing, high demand field of cyber security. Yes, you are right, because cyber security is the one field that can change the upcoming world. Because of the following technology and the digital space that you are able to see, all the world is covered through the network of this cyberspace. As far as the world is you deal with, from starting of your career, or from the birth to death, you are obviously going to deal with this cyber security, and not only cyber security but also cyberspace, the digital world. The upcoming digital world is making compulsory for the cyber security to evolve, and it should be used to defend the network of a digital space. So with the upcoming technology in forefront, the defending task has become more and more difficult, and also more and more important, essential for in today's world. So let us discuss about the cyber security in much detail. So now we will explore the field of cyber security, and we will see the following: learn the basics of being safe online, learn about different types of malware attacks and how organizations are protecting themselves against these attacks, explore the career options in cyber security, and by the end of this you will be more aware of the importance of being safe online, the potential consequences of cyber attacks, and possible career options in the cyber security field. So chapter the need for cyber security. Here it explains about what the cyber security is and why the demand for cyber security professionals is growing, and also I'll explain what your online identity and data is, where it is, and why it is the interest to the cyber criminals. Here we also discuss what organizational data is and why it must be protected. It discusses also who the cyber attackers are and what they want. Cyber security professionals must have the same skills as the cyber attackers, because to defend we have to know more than what the attackers are known. So cyber security professionals must have the same skills and more than the cyber attackers, but cyber security professionals must work within the bounds of the local and national and international law. Cyber security professionals must also use their skill ethically. Also so I also explain about the cyber warfare and why nations and governments need security professionals to help protect their citizens and infrastructure. What is cyber security? The connected electronic information network has become an integral part of our daily lives. All types of organizations such as medical, financial, and educational institutions use this network to operate effectively. They utilize the network by collecting, processing, storing and sharing vast amounts of digital information. As more digital information is gathered and shared, the protection of this information is becoming more and more vital to our national security and economic stability. Cybersecurity is the ongoing effort to protect these network systems and all of the data from unauthorized use or harm. On a personal level, you need to safeguard your identity, your data, and your computing devices. At the corporate level, it is everyone's responsibility to protect the organization's reputation, data, and customers. At the state level, national security and the safety as well as the well-being of citizens are at stake. Your online and offline identity, what does that mean? As more time is spent online, your identity both online and offline can affect your life. Your offline identity is the person who your friends and family interact with on the daily basis at home, school or work. They know your personal information such as your name, age or where you live. Your online identity is who you are in cyberspace. Your online identity is how you present yourself to others online. This online identity should only reveal a limited amount of information about you. You should take care when choosing a username or alias for your online identity. The username should not include any personal information. It should be something appropriate and respectful. This username should not lead strangers to think you are an easy target for cyber crimes or unwanted attention. And now your data. What is your data mean? Any information about you can be considered to be your data. This personal information can uniquely identify you as an individual. This data includes the pictures and messages that you can exchange with your family and friends online. Other information such as name, social security number, date and place of birth or mother's maiden name is known by you and used to identify you. Information such as medical, educational, financial and employment information can also be used to identify you online. Now coming to the medical records, every time you go to the doctor's office, more information is added to your electronic health records. The prescription your family doctor becomes part of your EHR. Your EHR, electronic health records, includes your physical health, mental health and other personal information that may not be medically related. For example, if you had counseling as a child, when there were major changes in the family, this will be somewhere in your medical records. Besides your medical history and personal information, electronic health record may also include information about your family. Medical devices such as fitness bands use the cloud platform to enable wireless transfer, storage and display of clinical data like heart rates, blood pressures and blood sugars. These devices can generate an enormous amount of data, clinical data, that could become part of your medical records. And when coming to the education records, as you progress through your education, information about your grades, test scores, your attendance, courses taken, awards and degrees rewarded and any disciplinary reports may be in your education record. This record may also include contact information, health and immunization records and special education records including individualized education programs and so on. When coming to the employment and financial records, your financial record may include information about your income and expenditures. Tax records could include paychecks, credit card statements, your credit rating and other banking information. Your employment information can include your past employment and your present employment and your performance too. So overall data can include medical data, employment, information online, your identity, education data, financial data and data on your computing devices. So till now we have seen about what are the types of data that are available. So now where is your data actually is? All of this information is about you. There are different laws that protect your privacy and data in your country. But do you know where your data is actually? When you are at the doctor's office, the conversation you have with the doctor is recorded in your medical chart. For billing purposes, this information may be shared with the insurance company to ensure appropriate billing and quality. Now, a part of your medical record for the visit, it is also at the insurance company now. Store loyalty cards may be convenient way to save money for your purchases. However, the store is compiling a profile of your purchases and using that information for its own use. The profile shows a buyer purchases a certain brand or a flavor of toothpaste regularly. The store uses this information to target the buyer with special offers from the marketing partner. By using the loyalty card, the store, the marketing partner have a profile for the purchasing behavior of a customer. When you share your pictures online with your friends, do you know who may have your copy of your pictures? Copies of the pictures are on your own devices. Your friends may have your copies of those pictures downloaded onto their devices. If the pictures are shared publicly, strangers may have copies of them too. They could download those pictures or take screenshot of those pictures because the pictures were posted online. They are also saved on servers located in the different parts of the world. Now the pictures are no longer only found on your computing devices. So what does your computing devices mean? Your computing devices do not just store your data. Now these devices have become the portal to your data and generate information about you. Unless you have chosen to receive paper statements for all your accounts, you use your computing devices to access the data. If you want a digital copy of the most recent credit card statement, you use your computing devices to get access to the website of the credit card issuer. If you want to pay your credit card bills online, you access the website of your bank to transfer the funds using your computing devices. Besides allowing you to access your information, the computing devices can also generate information about you. With all this information about you available online, your personal data has become profitable to the hackers. So basically, what does the hackers want? They want your money. If you have anything of value, the criminals want it. Your online credentials are valuable. These credentials give the thieves access to your accounts. You may think the frequent flyer miles you have earned are not valuable to the cyber criminals. Think again. After approximately 10,000 American airlines and the United accounts were hacked, cyber criminals booked free flights and upgrades using these stolen credentials. Even though the frequent flyer miles were returned to the customers by the airlines, this demonstrates the value of login credentials itself. A criminal could also take advantage of your relationships. They could access your online accounts and your reputation to trick you into wiring money to your friends or family. The criminal can send messages stating that your family or friends need you to wire them money so that they can get home from abroad after losing their wallets. The criminals are very imaginative when they are trying to trick you, giving them money. They do not just steal your money, they could also steal your identity and ruin your life. They also want your identity. Along with money, they also want your identity. Besides stealing your money for a short-term monetary gain, the criminals want long-term profits by stealing your identity. As medical costs rise, medical identity theft is also on rise. The identity thieves can steal your medical insurance and use your medical benefits for themselves, and these medical procedures are now in your medical records. The annual tax filing procedures may vary from country to country. However, cyber criminals see this time as an opportunity. For example, the people of the United States or India need to file their taxes by April 15th of each year. The Internal Revenue Service does not check, IRS does not check the tax return against the information from the employer until July. An identity thief can file a tax return and collect the refund. The legitimate filers will notice when their returns are rejected by the IRS. With the stolen identity, they can also open credit card accounts and run up debts in your name. This will cause damage to your credit rating and make it more difficult to you to obtain loans. Personal credentials can also lead to corporate data and government data access. So there are also, as we see about the personal data, there are also organizational data. So what are the types of the organizational data that are available? First thing is traditional data regarding the organization. Corporate data includes personal information, intellectual properties and financial data. The personal information includes application materials, payroll, offer letters, employee agreements and any information used in making gain economic advantage over its competitors. This intellectual property can be considered a trade secret. Losing this information can be disastrous for the future of the company. The financial data such as income statements, balance sheets and cash flow statements of the company give insight to the health of the company. And also Internet of Things and big data. With the emergence of the Internet of Things, there is a lot more data to manage and secure. The IoT is a large network of physical objects such as sensors and equipments that extend beyond the traditional computer network. All these connections plus the fact that we have expanded the storage capacity and the storage services through the cloud and virtualization lead to the exponential growth of data. This data has created a new area of interest in the technology and businesses called big data. With the velocity, volume and variety of data generated by the IoT devices and the daily operations of the businesses, the confidentiality, integrity and availability of this data is vital to survival of the organization. So, confidentiality, integrity and availability of the data, known as CIA triad, is a guideline for information security for an organization. Confidentiality ensures the privacy of the data by restricting access through authentication encryption. Integrity assures that the information is accurate and trustworthy. Availability ensures that the information is accessible to the authorized people. Confidentiality means another term for confidentiality would be privacy. Company policies should restrict access to the information to authorized personnel and ensure that only those authorized individuals view this data. The data may be compartmentalized according to the security or sensitivity levels of the information. For example, a Java program developer should not have access to the personal information of all employees. Furthermore, employees should receive training to understand the best practices in safeguarding the sensitive information to protect themselves and the company from attacks. Methods to ensure confidentiality include data encryption, username ID and password, two-factor authentication and minimizing exposure of sensitive information. When coming to the integrity of the data, integrity is accuracy, consistency and trustworthiness of the data during its entire life cycle. Data must be unaltered during the transit and not changed by authorized entities. File permissions and user access control can prevent unauthorized access. So, version control can be used to prevent accidental changes by authorized users. Backups must be available to restore any corrupted data, and checksum hashing can be used to verify integrity of the data during the transfer. A checksum is used to verify the integrity of the files or string of characters after they have been transferred from one device to another across your local network or internet. Checksums are calculated with hash functions. Some of the common checksums are MD5, SHA1, SHA256, SHA512. A hash function uses a mathematical algorithm to transform the data into fixed length value that represents the data. The hash value is simply there for comparison. So the hash value is simply there for comparison. From the hash value, the original data cannot be retrieved directly. For example, if you forgot your password cannot be recovered from the hash value. The password must be reset. After a file is downloaded, you can verify its integrity by verifying the hash values from the source with the one you generated using any hash calculator. By comparing the hash values, you can ensure that the file has not been tampered with or corrupted during the file transfer. When coming to the availability, maintaining equipment performing hardware repairs, keeping operating systems and the software up to date, and creating backups ensure the availability of the network and data to the authorized users. Plans should be in place to recover quickly from the natural or man-made disasters. Security equipment or software such as firewalls guard against downtime due to the attacks such as denial of service. See, what does this denial of service means? Denial of service occurs when an attacker attempts to overwhelm the resources so that the services are not available to the users. And also regarding the CIA triad, confidentiality, integrity and availability, and also this is regarding the hash function. You can see in the diagram here that creating a hash depicts a plain text message data of arbitrary length going through a hash function to create a fixed length hash value of 883AA0B24C09F, so on, like that. A plain text message can be created to a hash value. So, if you look at the consequences of a security breach, to protect an organization from every possible cyber attack is not feasible for few reasons. The expertise necessary to set up and maintain the secure network can be expensive. Attackers will always continue to find new ways to target networks. Eventually, an advanced and targeted cyber attack will succeed. The priority will then be how quickly our security team can respond to the attack to minimize the loss of data, downtime and revenue. So by now you know that anything posted online can live online forever, even if you are able to erase all the copies in your possession. If your servers were hacked, the confidential personal information could be made public. A hacker or a hacking group may vandalize the company's website by posting untrue information and ruin the company's reputation that took years to build. The hackers can also take down the company website, causing the company to lose revenue. If the website is down for a longer periods of time, the company may appear unreliable and possibly lose the credibility. If the company website or network has been breached, this could lead to the leaked confidential documents, revealed trade secrets and stolen intellectual property. The loss of all this information may impede company's growth and expansion. The monetary cost of a breach is much higher than just replacing any lost or stolen devices. Investing in existing security and strengthening the building's physical security. The company may be responsible for contacting all the affected customers about the breach and may have to be prepared for litigation. With all this turmoil, employees may choose to leave the company. The company may need to focus less on growing and more on repairing its reputation. So let us also see an example for this breach, security breach. So example can be the online password manager LastPass detected unusual activity on its network in July 2015. It turned out that hackers had stolen user email addresses, passwords, reminders and authentication hashes. Unfortunately for the users, the hackers were unable to obtain anyone's encrypted password vaults. Even though there was a security breach, LastPass could still safeguard the user's account information. LastPass requires email verification or multi-factor authentication whenever there is a new login from an unknown device or IP address. The hackers would also need the master password to access the account. So the LastPass users also have same responsibility in safeguarding their own accounts. The users should always use complex master passwords and change the master passwords periodically. The users should always beware of phishing attacks. So the users should always beware of phishing attacks. So an example of phishing attack would be if an attacker sent fake emails claiming to be from the LastPass. The emails ask the users to click an embedded link and change the password. The link in the email goes to the fraudulent version of the website used to steal the master password. The users should never click the embedded links in any email. The users should also be careful with their password reminder. The password reminder should not give away your passwords. Most importantly, the users should enable multi-factor authentication when available for any website that offers it. If the users and service providers both utilize the proper tools and procedures to safeguard the user's information, the user's data could still be protected even if the event of security breach has taken place. Another example can be, let us discuss some another example. A high-tech toy maker for children, VTech, suffered a security breach to its database in November 2015. This breach could affect millions of customers around the world, including the children. The data breach exposed sensitive information, including the customer names, email addresses, password, and pictures, and their chat logs. A toy tablet had become a new target for the hackers. The customers had shared the photos and used the chat features through the toy tablets. The information was not secretly secured properly, and the company's website did not support the secure SSL communication. Even though the breach did not expose any credit card information and personal identification data, the company was suspended on the stock exchange because the concern over the hack was so great. So the VTech did not safeguard the customer's information properly, and it was exposed during the breach. Even though the company informed its customers that their passwords has been hashed, it was still possible for the hackers to decipher them. The passwords in the database were scrambled using MD5 hash function, but the security questions and the answers were stored in plain text. Unfortunately, MD5 hash function has known vulnerabilities. The hackers can determine the original passwords by comparing millions of pre-calculated hash values. So, with the information exposed in the data breach, cyber criminals could use it to create email accounts, apply for credit cards, and commit crimes before the children were old enough to go to school. For the parents of these children, the cyber criminals could take over the online accounts because many people reuse their passwords on different websites and accounts. The security breach not only impacted the privacy of the customers, it ruined the company's reputation, as indicated by the company when its presence on the stock exchange was suspended. For parents, it is a wake-up call to be more vigilant about their children's privacy online and demand better security for children's products. For the manufacturers of the network connected products, they need to be more aggressive in the protection of consumer data and privacy now. In the future, the cyber attack landscapes can be evolved. So this is a clear example of a misuse of connected networks or network devices by the manufacturers, and also even the child data information, personal information, credit card information, transaction data, passwords, account information can also be used in these security attacks. And when discussing about the other example, like Equifax company is one of the nationwide consumer credit reporting agencies in the United States. This company collects information on millions of individual customers and business worldwide. Based on the collected information, credit scores and credit reports are created about the customers. This information could affect the customers when they apply for loans and when they are looking for an employment. So in September 2017, Equifax publicly announced a data breach event. The attackers exploited a vulnerability in the Apache Struts web application software. The company believes that millions of US consumers' sensitive personal data were accessed by the cyber criminals between May and July of 2017, I think. The personal data includes the customers' full names, social security numbers, birth dates, addresses, and other personally identifiable information. This is an evidence that breach may have affected customers in the United Kingdom and Canada. Equifax established a dedicated website that allows the consumers to determine if their information was compromised and to sign up for a credit monitoring and identify their theft protection. Using a new domain name instead of using a subdomain of equifax.com, this allowed nefarious parties to create unauthorized websites with similar names. These websites can be used as a part of phishing scheme to trick you into the providing personal information. Furthermore, any employee from Equifax provided an incorrect web link in the social media for worried customers. Unfortunately, this website was taken down within the 24 hours. It was created by an individual who used it as an educational opportunity to expose the vulnerability that exists in the Equifax response page. As a concerned consumer, you may want to quickly verify if your information was compromised, so you can minimize the impact. In a time of crisis, you may be tricked into unauthorized websites. You should be cautious about providing personal information so you do not become a victim again. Furthermore, companies are responsible for keeping our information safe from unauthorized access. Companies need to regularly patch and update their software to mitigate exploitation from known vulnerabilities. Their employee should be educated and informed about the procedures to safeguard the information and what to do in the event of a breach. Unfortunately, the real victims of this breach are the individuals whose data may have been compromised. In this case, Equifax has been the burden of protecting the collected consumer data while conducting credit checks because the consumers did not choose to use the services provided by the Equifax. The consumer has to trust the company to safeguard the collected information. Furthermore, the attackers can use this data to assume your identity. It is very difficult to prove otherwise because both the attacker and the victim know the same information. In these situations, the most you can do is to be vigilant when you are providing personally identifiable information over the internet. So check your credit reports regularly, once per month and once per quarter. Immediately report any false information such as applications for credit that you did not initiate or purchases on your credit cards that you did not make. So this sharp response to any data breach or to any false information that has been provided in your reports or any transaction can be identified soon with the help of by the organizations if and only if you take an immediate response to such action. So this is all about the basics. In the next coming videos we will see in depth about what is the cyber security and what does how the cyber security main types of attacks are, and how the organizations, government and individuals take responsibility and may how to be cautious, and with the also the following tips we will explain the cyber security in detail. So this is about the basic introduction regarding the cyber security threats that has been taking place, that has been already took place, and also also some tips we have seen regarding the online data entry and online information regarding the following websites, and also the what does the individual can do, what does the individual can do from the phishing and also the phishing attacks, and also the organizations can do, what some organizations can do to defend from the denial of service attacks, and also the government agencies can do with the following cyber attacks. So we will discuss clearly about all these things in coming videos.